From weekend getaways to extended road trips, California is full of places to explore. And for over 100 years, the Auto Club has been there to help. Our travel agents offer you expertise regarding destination information, trip planning and reservations, either in office, on the phone, or online. Across the state, throughout the country, or around the world, through all life's travels, we're always with you.
Road Trip has been made possible by the Automobile Club of Southern California.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell here, and here it is early morning. It's a Tuesday morning, it's a little overcast, and we are standing right on the main drag of the nice little beach community of Encinitas, located about 25 miles north of San Diego, right here on our state's coast. Now, we're going to be spending the whole day here, and already we know a couple of the places we're going to be visiting because I've been reading up on them in my tour books. But as usual on these adventures, there are probably going to be some unplanned stops along the way as well, because we never know what we're going to get into. But it's going to be a great day. We're going to meet a lot of nice people. We're going to see the sights. We're excited. We've come to Encinitas on a road trip. We're starting big. This is the biggest example of, what are we looking at, Julian?
You got Dendrocalamus giganteus here, Huell.
This is bamboo.
Bamboo, big bamboo.
And this big bamboo is found, it's located in what I think is probably the #1, the best known destination in Encinitas. Am I correct?
Huell Botanical Gardens. The only place more popular, maybe during the summer, is our beaches. But this is the place you want to come to in Encinitas.
All right, that's why we're starting off here. And I got to tell you, I'd read a lot about it. I'd seen some pictures about this huge botanical garden, but I wasn't prepared for this. This is the biggest bamboo I've ever seen in my life.
It may be the biggest specimen in all of North America, in fact. This is the largest type of bamboo in the world. And it is an example. Not only is it big, Huell, but this piece right here, if you kind of get a shot up the top of it, looks like a giant asparagus spear.
Yeah.
This is probably only about 5 weeks old. This stuff grows so fast. You can, if we stood here for a while, it might be a foot longer by the time we stop looking at it.
And this is just one example of lots of different kinds of bamboo that you have. We are now walking through the bamboo garden.
That's correct. The American Bamboo Society actually started here at Huell Botanical Gardens, about 20 years ago. And we have the most extensive, most diverse collection of bamboo. We've got like 125 different kinds on display. On display.
Does bamboo grow here well because we're so close to the ocean and you get that cool air, or what?
Definitely. In fact, a lot of the plants, we have so many different kinds of plants here because we are just so lucky to have this incredible climate here. Southern California, but right up here on the coast, we are so moderated by that ocean and the warmth that we have during the summertime that we can just grow so many different things here that, you know, it's hard to pick out what you want to look at, in fact, sometimes.
Now, are we supposed to go this way, or let's go this way? Look at this. Look at this. We are literally surrounded by bamboo, and look what you got over here. This is this nice little fountain, this little stream that flows right into lily pond.
Actually, if you get close enough to, you're going to see there's a bunch of frogs in this pond here too. They just ducked under the water right now, but there's, for whatever reasons, bullfrogs showed up in this pond here amongst those lily pads in there. And the delight of children when they come to the gardens, because these frogs are always there to see.
Now, where are we heading? Because we could literally spend the whole day here, and we could literally go to how many different sub-gardens are in the bigger Huell Botanical Garden?
We have 26 separate gardens here in our 34 acres. So there's a lot of diversity here, Huell. So let's just head off and see what we find.
All right, so I don't think we're ever going to get out of the bamboo.
Hey, well, you know, this bamboo right here, you know, this is some of the bamboo they feed the pandas at the zoo in San Diego. We're the salad bowl for the pandas at the zoo here at the Huell.
So they harvest this bamboo?
They harvest it and they take it down to the zoo and they feed the pandas with it.
Well, I guess it grows back very quickly, doesn't
And we're
it?
happy to have that relationship too.
We're walking down Banana Boulevard, and that really is the name of this place.
You got it. That's the name, Banana Boulevard. And these are bananas. A lot of people don't know where bananas come from, Huell, but these are the plants that produce bananas that you go and you buy in the store.
See, I didn't think you could grow bananas in California.
Well, you can in this little range right along the coast here. In fact, let me point this out here. This is the actual banana flower here. This is the flower, and there are little florets here that actually produce the fruit. And if you look up that stem, and they're the bananas. They're the bananas developing right up top of there.
Now, will they grow into big, ripe, thick, yellow, edible bananas?
We've got over 20 different kinds here. So some stay different colors of, shades of yellow and green and whatnot. Some stay fairly small, but actually the treat is the fact that some of them are just absolutely just really, really delicious too.
Look at this. I'm just seeing them over here.
Yeah.
Bananas. What happens to these? Do people eat them?
Well, we keep them on display here because the idea, of course, is for people to come here and see where these fruits come from. But I want to say that the staff and some of the volunteers do get the little harvest here, a little special. In fact, do you want to try something here? These aren't ripe yet, but I've got something right around the corner over here.
Wait a minute. Before we do that, I'm just noticing, I don't think I've ever seen a banana bloom before.
Look at this here. Look at that.
Oh, look. So this is the
actual inflorescence, because these are the individual flowers here, and you can see this is a fertilized flower turning into a banana here.
Turning into a banana. I've never seen this before.
It's a gorgeous piece of vegetation too, isn't it? Yeah.
So this is exciting just because people get to see something up close that they've never seen before.
You know, so many people these days just assume that the food comes from the supermarket, but it doesn't. It comes from Mother Nature. You know, that's where the production really is.
All right, weren't we heading to some place we could actually eat something?
I've got something. I'm the director here, so I can pick a fruit when I need to, right? So I want to show you something I'm sure you've never had before. This is a tree from Asia. This tree here is called rose apple. Rose apple, not to be confused with road apple, right? But anyway, there's a difference there. This is, take a smell that there, and
doesn't have a great smell.
Well, it should smell a little bit like, if I get a good ripe one here.
Are you going to eat, or are we going to eat these?
I'm going to munch it first, just to show you that it's okay. I'm not going to fool you on anything here, but
so you just bite into it.
This had, Now it smells.
It's good.
It's good, isn't it? Nice and crunchy.
What's that inside of it? Look, there's
the seed. In fact, you can take that seed home with you, put it in your pocket. That will grow another rose apple tree, guaranteed. Actually,
I've never seen. Is this common in California? I've never seen.
It's not. There's a lot of things that people can grow here locally that they just have no idea of, and that's another reason why we have this garden here, so people get an idea. You can have an attractive plant in your landscape. But you can also, this would be nice in a little salad, you know. This is a nice little fruit here.
So this is a practical garden as well. You're showing people things that they can actually plant.
Like avocados. Avocados. Everybody knows what avocado. This is an avocado tree here. Let me see if I got some fruit here hanging.
Well, we don't have to eat just because we're walking through the garden.
But
this will last me just fine.
Good. Yeah.
I'm going to keep the seed and take it home and plant it, though.
Good idea.
Now, this has to be the most, well, I'm not even sure I know what we're looking at. Is this a single bloom right here?
This is a single blossom or flower. This is off of this vine called a Dutchman's pipe vine. And the reason they call it that, Huell, if you look behind here, the shape of it behind this forefront of the flower here looks a little bit like a pipe. See how it comes off the stem here, and see how it narrows down? And it, looks a little bit like a, like a smoking pipe.
Are these the pods ready to bloom?
These are just before they open, and they look a little bit like Dutchman's pipes too, don't they? Actually,
wow.
Yeah. And this is a flower that's actually pollinated by flies, and sometimes some of the Dutchman's pipes have a very disagreeable aroma to us. They smell like something we wouldn't want to have to smell. But flies, of course, this one.
It doesn't smell bad.
Actually, this one here smells a little bit like lemon pledge, and I don't know what flies like that. But anyway, the idea here is that the fly finds its way down in this tube down here, and then gets trapped behind. See, it goes through this narrow here. This narrow
gets trapped up in here.
He gets trapped up, has to spend more time in there, thus ensuring that it's going to pollinate that flower. He eventually gets back out and goes to another flower.
That is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life.
Wild.
Another big tree and another view out here that's a little still overcast, but you can see the ocean out here. And this brings to mind what Encinitas used to be known for? Because wasn't it known as a place where flowers and greenhouses, and it was a whole big industry?
It still is, in fact, but it's not not like it used to be. Encinitas was called the flower capital of the world at one time, and a lot of it has urbanized, like so much of all of Southern California, in fact. But this garden here actually started as a public face for that, actually. Some of the original growers, like Pollocky Sr., were on the foundation here and started this garden even before it opened to the public, and got the county interested in actually calling it a public botanical garden, in fact.
And why did they want to have this?
Well, people would drive up the coast here in Encinitas and Carlsbad and all the neighboring communities here, and all they would see is greenhouses and flower fields everywhere. That's all changed now, but there wasn't a public face. There wasn't an opportunity for people to go and see some of these things, and this garden here actually started with the opportunity to do that. Now, we're coming into an area here that is really one of the premier areas of the garden.
This is, you know, this just drew me into it. This is beautiful right here.
And these are cork oaks. Huell, these were probably planted during World War II when the USDA, the Department of Agriculture, was afraid that there might be a shortage of availability of cork, and they brought cork into Southern California, little trees, and they gave the Larrabees a bunch of them to plant, and these are the result of it some 60 years later here. These are cork oak trees. This is where cork comes from.
Wow. And it has such a nice feel back in here. Well, the feel of the tree is wonderful too. It's a tree that's made of cork.
Right, yeah, that's what they harvest cork from in the Mediterranean, Portugal and Spain and that. And this area here is part of
over here. This is just, there's so many, it just keeps going on and on and on. How many acres?
20, well, we have 34 acres right now, 26 different types of gardens, and this tree here is something I've got to show you here.
There it is. There's one of them kind of leaning over.
They sometimes lean a little bit like that. These are dragon trees. Dragon trees from the Canary Islands. This is a tree that's actually an endangered species. It's only found there in Canary Islands. And they call it dragon tree, Huell, because during medieval times, this tree was the source of dragon's blood. And dragon's blood, you know, hundreds of years ago, was thought to be a very important ingredient in everything from all kinds of medicinal concoctions to even the varnish on Stradivarius violins. The early violins had some of that sap in them to turn them a nice little hue of red. Actually,
is there anything that won't grow here? Because it seems to me like you've got a little bit of everything.
We do. We really do. We have so many different kinds of plants here in the gardens, and there are some things, you know, we won't grow alpine plants from Nova Scotia or something like that here at Quail Botanical Gardens, but we can bring a lot of the tropical plants in, and all the Mediterranean climate plants do so well here. And so, yeah, it's hard to decide sometimes.
Are these big trees on your property?
They sure are. And you know, you're looking at the top of Torrey pines. Those are Torrey pines. That's one of the most endangered pine trees in all of California, all of the world.
They just grow some of them out on the Channel Islands and some of them on this part of our coast.
This right here, just down the coast here in Torrey Pine State Park.
We're walking over here to sit under a whole grouping of these dragon trees, they're very architectural, and this brings to mind the question, you've got this little bench over here.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of people just come out here just to kind of sit down and be quiet and hang out.
You're right, Huell. Actually, you know, there's a lot of plant nuts like myself that are here writing down all the names and learning and figuring out what they can grow in that too, and that's great. But you know, more and more people just need a tranquil oasis these days. You know, we've become so citified, so urbanized everywhere that people come to Quail Botanical Gardens just to kind of chill out, you know. I mean, and there's actual scientific proof now that a walk through a space like Quail Botanical Gardens is good for you mentally and even good for you physically.
Wow, this is... You know, you would never know that we're in the middle of a town right now.
This is like being in the middle of the Canary Islands amongst all the dragon trees.
Yeah. We're ending up here in the rainforest in front of this. What is this we're looking at now, Julian?
This is one of the heliconias. Like if we were in Costa Rica, these plants would be growing all over the place. They're a very, very common flower in the American tropics here. And it's a nice entrance to our rainforest experience here because this area right through here with this dappled light coming through here, Huell, and the cool, you notice how it's cooler in here, a little more humid? The water course along us here. This is really like a genuine rainforest experience. People walk through here and
look at this over here.
Yeah,
this is just
refreshing,
beautiful.
Isn't it? I'd like to go sit in that stream over there. We don't let people do that, by the way, though.
Lots of ferns, lots of benches, lots of places to come in here in the tropical forest, and we end up here in front of Look at this. This is absolutely spectacular.
This is quite the surprise, isn't it? Yeah, that waterfall there is all about 3 stories tall, in fact. It was one of the original cameo spots here in the garden, still is. All the trees have grown up around it since it was put in back in the 70s, and now it's a better rainforest because we have things planted way up in the trees that are grown like it would be if you were just, you know, right there in South America someplace.
This is spectacular. I got to tell you, everything I read about this place said it was great, but it surpasses our highest expectations, and we've just scraped the surface here.
Right, yeah, this is what we've seen about 5, maybe of the 26 different areas. Nature's a wonderful story to tell. Enjoy it.
Well, this place, Huell Botanical Garden, sure tells nature's story in a wonderful way. This is just the first stop on our road trip to Encinitas. You know, we still got a lot more to see.
You sure do.
But I don't think we could have started it in a better place, and in a place that more hopefully kind of sets the tone for what, you know, what this day is going to be all about.
I'm sure you're in for some great surprises.
Except I'm so mellow. I just kind of want to sit here on the bench. Come on, sit here with me.
I appreciate that.
I don't want to go anywhere.
It's a nice place to hang out, isn't it?
But you know what? The sun has come out. It's going to be a beautiful day here at the beach. And our road trip continues as soon as I get up the psychological and the physical courage to leave this beautiful spot and go to stop number 2. Now, this is interesting. This was a planned stop. Introduce yourself to everybody, Lloyd.
I'm Lloyd O'Connell, a member of the Encinitas Historical Society.
And we had it planned for you to meet up with us up at the Huell Botanical Gardens and bring us to the Historical Society's museum. And we were following you, and when you pulled in here, I swear I said to the cameraman, "Where are we going?" He's taking us to a service station.
That's exactly right. It used to be an old Shell service station. In fact, it was mine for many years
kidding.
Downtown. That's right.
And now you've made it into the San
Dieguito Heritage Museum.
What is San Dieguito? I've
San
never heard that word
Dieguito is
before.
a representation of 3 towns, Del Mar, Solana Beach, and Encinitas. All 3 of these are together. So San Dieguito Heritage Museum encompasses those 3 towns, and all the artifacts that they collect have come from those 3 town areas.
What does that word mean? Is that an old Spanish word? That
Little St. James.
Little St. James.
Yes.
Was this all a land grant, all one big area or something?
At one time we did have a land grant. It was the Encinitas Rancho out here in Olivenheim.
Okay.
About 3 miles, 4 miles from us, from this spot.
All right,
but
so anybody around here would know the word San Dieguito. For me, that's a new word.
They wouldn't know the word.
Oh.
They really wouldn't know the word.
All right,
they would question, where is San Dieguito?
Well, we are right in the middle of Encinitas right now, standing out in front of your old garage, which is the museum. I'm not sure what these 2 fellows are doing here. Fellas, introduce yourself.
Warren Raps.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Dave Young.
Nice to meet you all, and you're working on this. Come around here, Cameron, and take a look at this, because this is, fellas, it looks to me like you got a lot of work ahead of you here.
Well, it's a few things to be done, you know, but it runs.
What are we looking at right here?
This is a 1917 Model T Ford touring car.
Wow, and how did you get it?
Well, it was donated by a local businessman to the museum.
Uh-huh.
And it was very generous of him to do it, and it didn't run. I've been working on it for over a year.
So this is an ongoing project for the
Yes, it
Historical Society.
For the San Dieguito Heritage Museum.
Okay.
And for the kids of Encinitas to see what the car to put America on wheels.
And have you all lived here in Encinitas for a long time?
Well, since 1933.
So you remember it back when it was
Just flower growing, ranching, small little country town.
just kind of a little, it wasn't really much even of a beach town, was it? There wasn't a lot of surfing going on. It was flower growing
That was
here.
before surfing.
Yeah. So it was just flower growing.
Yeah, a lot of flower growing.
Well, you've lived here a long time. You've watched it grow and change. Are you happy with everything that's going on, or do you want to complain to the camera about something?
Well, the traffic could be better.
Join the crowd. That's going on all over California.
But it's still a nice little town.
Yeah.
And we have a real nice beach down here still. And of course, the famous surfing down at Swami's Beach.
We're going to head down to the beach in a little while. You've seen it change here, too.
Yeah, I've been here since 1955.
Oh, well, you're a newcomer.
I'm a kid, just a kid.
And do you have any observations to make on the good town of Encinitas?
Well, there's a heck of a lot more houses now. Houses and more houses. The flower fields are gone, and it's all houses. But that's the wave of the future, I guess.
Yeah.
And we're a city now, never was a city. It was unincorporated. It was a nice little town to grow up in.
Well, it's still a nice town, though,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's still a nice town. Lots of nice people.
The old service station is still here.
Right.
The old car is still here.
And
You're still here.
These old men are still here. Yeah.
Not you, him.
Yeah. We can start this old bus up for you if you like.
Come on. You're kidding.
Well, you never know about Model Ts. You never know.
It's making a noise.
That's the old coil box.
Oh, you got to crank it?
All right, there's no starter. So
All right, here he goes.
stand by here. We're not.
Do I need to stand by or stand back?
Just don't stand in front of it. Don't get too close. Let's give her a little choke, huh? You have it on? Yeah.
This is very historic.
Yeah, very historical.
There it goes.
Give it some advance. Give it some advance.
It's running like a top.
Yeah. It's like a diamond in the rough, huh?
A diamond in the rough. Oh, wow.
20 horsepower.
That sounds great. Here, you all stand over here by the car and pose, because this is the good work you all have done here, standing right out in front of the Heritage Museum. It doesn't get any better than this. Ha! Now, this is one of those unplanned stops on our road trip. As we were driving over to the museum, I spotted this place and asked Lloyd if he would bring us back and show it to us, and that gave us an excuse to hook up with Linda, who's the director of the museum. Linda, your museum, where we just were, the old gas station, and this place have something in common.
Yes, well, originally the museum was supposed to move to this location. It was city land that the city was going to let us use to build our new museum, and then they decided to build a park here instead and have given us a lease on a parcel of land over next to Huell Gardens, which is where
you're going to be moving up to Huell
Yes, we will.
Gardens.
We're
We
very
just came
excited
from
about
there.
it.
It is spectacular
Isn't it
up
beautiful
there.
up there? Yes.
All right, let's walk through here, because this is what caught my eye. This is absolutely spectacular, and you told me this used to be a mess.
Yeah, it did. It used to be our sanitary district. When I was here in '55, it was still operating.
What do you mean your sanitary district?
All the effluent that came from the various homes in Encinitas came over here and was taken care of through the sanitary operation of that particular.
Gosh, but look at this now. This is this absolutely beautiful park right here on the side of the highway. What's the deal here?
Well, we wanted to demonstrate the fact that we had a historic creek, and Cottonwood Creek is pumped up. It comes off from two sections of our town, one from the north side and one from the south side.
Is this the old creek bed right here?
This is not the old creek bed. This was a lighted creek bed. The old creek bed went under Encinitas Boulevard at the point where I'm pointing right now.
What do you mean a lighted creek bed?
Well,
you mean it's
what we
lit
have
at night?
What we have to do is pump the water from the creek up to this point, and then it runs down. But right now, during the summertime, I assume that they're not running it.
And when you say lighted, you mean it's got these beautiful street lights, these old-timey?
Well, we call it lighted because it's lighted on the surface of the ground.
That's you mean lighted like it's light. The water comes up.
Right.
Oh, boy, this is a learning experience for me. And
so Cottonwood Creek was very instrumental in the early development of Encinitas because for 42 years, it was the source of water.
Let's walk over here and look at this. This is a beautiful, kind of a wild area right here looking out here. Look at this. This is beautiful.
Yeah, these are all native plants.
And so
local
what
native
happens?
plants.
People just come down here, Linda, and hang out. Look at this. This is a beautiful little trail that just goes all up and down the creek here.
Well, you'd be surprised during the weekends. All the families come here and do their picnicking, and the children, of course, love the little play area. It's just wonderful.
And historically,
and
Linda.
Also, we have tennis and also basketball on the lower end.
Wait a minute, there's basketball up there.
Yeah.
And Linda, this is like history and a park and a playground and everything kind of all thrown in together here.
Yeah, combined use.
Yeah, things kind of work out in Encinitas, don't they?
I think they have. I think it's turned out to be a very beautiful setting.
Boy, this sums it up right here. This is part of the Encinitas lifestyle. Your name is?
Mark Clammer.
And you're on your way back from the beach.
Yeah, sure am.
Another tough day in paradise, right?
That's right. We surfed it up today.
What is your schedule like here on a normal day in Encinitas?
Well, first thing I do when I get up is I check out the surf, and that kind of dictates what I'm going to do.
And today, how was the surf?
Today was small, and it was worth going surfing, so I'm out there.
We haven't been to the beach yet. Which beach should we go to?
Right down here, there's an access at D Street. I suggest you go there. The tide's going out right now, and there's lots of sand. It's nice down there.
You know, you can't even talk about it without smiling. You've figured life all out, haven't you?
Yeah.
This is what it's all about.
I love my life, yeah.
And there are a lot of people living in Encinitas who figured it out as well,
That's
haven't
true.
they?
That's true, yeah.
Well, congratulations. I don't know what else to say. I'm a little jealous. This is your day.
Well, come visit us anytime you want.
We will be back. Nice to meet you, sir. Your name again?
Mark Clammer.
All right, he's part of the history and the lifestyle, the living history of this town. Lord, we're standing out in front of another part of the history of this town.
It's 122 years old, and this is the oldest building in Encinitas.
The oldest building in Encinitas.
It's 1883. And they did have they did have a school in a farm site located here in Leucadia, and then a fire took that building down. So in '82, the school district was established, and they said, well, we need a new school. So they passed a bond for $600 at 6%, and that was the beginning of our school, which was constructed in 1883.
Now, this belongs to the Historical Society right now. This isn't still a schoolhouse.
This belongs to the Historical Society, and we got it for $1 down here on 8th Street and 4th.
And you moved it up here.
And we moved it up here.
Can we go inside?
It was here on the site. In other words, this is on the original site.
Can we go inside?
Sure.
We're going inside the original 1883 schoolhouse, the oldest building in Encinitas. We're walking inside the schoolhouse, and Lloyd, what goes on inside this schoolhouse on a regular day?
Well, it's a demonstration center for history, and we have an openings on Friday and Saturday in the afternoons. We have docents that work here. Children come in here too and get lectures about the old times.
They get to sit in the old desk.
Sit in the old desk.
Here, sit down over there, Lloyd.
Sometimes they even have lunch here. So that's kind of fun.
So you kind of teach them about the discipline that used to be in the classroom too.
Well, we don't talk too much about that, okay?
Well, after being here in Encinitas for half a day, we have finally made it to the beach. And our beach guide, Trevor, tell everybody exactly where we are, because this is a beautiful beach.
Isn't it? It really is. We are at Moonlight Beach right here in Encinitas, California.
All right, now, Moonlight Beach. Is this the main beach in Encinitas, or is this one of many beaches in Encinitas?
This is one of many beaches. This is one of our more popular beaches. We've got great access, a lot of parking, a lot of lifeguard supervision.
Lots of tourists come here?
Lots of tourists. You know, we've got a lot of sand at this beach. This is one of our sandier beaches in Encinitas.
Now, when I think of Encinitas, I think of bluffs. I don't think of big open beaches like this, because isn't a lot of your beach line here? I mean, looking down the way here, all I see are big, steep bluffs.
Yeah, most of our beaches are cliff line here. This is makes for one of the more popular beaches right here at Moonlight Beach.
So how do people get down to the water from these bluffs?
We have various access ways, a lot of public access points, and a a lot of private homeowners do have their own private access points.
Well, didn't I hear you say, though, that we just missed all the excitement here today?
Yeah, you did miss some excitement. We had a cliff rescue a block south of here with
Now,
a gentleman.
What do you mean a cliff rescue? What happened?
Well, there's a gentleman that got stuck on the cliff, and we had to respond with a fire department, and I actually went over the side and rescued him.
Wait a minute, you went off the side of the cliff, you rappelled off the side.
Yeah.
What was he doing, just hanging there?
I guess he was just walking along, and he fell off, and he just got stuck. There's a couple different areas in the sand right there, and he got stuck in the soft spot right on the cliff there, so we had to go get him.
So tourists and people who don't really know this part of the California coast, you probably get people stuck on these cliffs from time to time, don't you?
It's been amazing last month and a half. We've had 2 people get rescued off, and then I actually went over at the same spot and rescued a dog like half a month earlier. So
Boy, you've been busy. You've earned your pay.
Yeah.
Are you a local?
Oh yeah, I've grown up here. I went to grade school here.
Born and raised in Encinitas.
Yeah, born and raised. Went to San Dieguito High School.
And what would you tell people about this community who are visiting it for the first time like we are today?
Oh, it's a wonderful area. You know, got a lot of good food, a lot of good attractions, whether it be La Paloma, or you could go down to the horse races down in Del Mar, go to the fair. It's
Del
nice
Mar
here.
Fair.
Yeah, the Del Mar Fairgrounds are having the horse races.
And what about the surfing? Because driving into town today, we looked out and saw hundreds of surfers. Where was that? I think it was down here, wasn't it?
Down at D Street or down at Swami's?
Swami's.
Swami's is a really popular surf area. Gets really big there in the wintertime.
So this area is known as a good surfing area.
Yeah, each spot's really unique, and the different swell and the time of year that it can be good. So it really varies from season to season.
Well, everybody looks like they're having a good time. Hello! Everybody's having a real good time.
Everyone's having a great time. Who doesn't have a good time at the beach?
Yeah, and this is one of those Chamber of Commerce days for Encinitas, but I have a feeling that just about every day is a Chamber of Commerce day here, isn't it?
Every day is a wonderful day when you're at the beach.
We got 4 beach girls here from
Encinitas, Carlsbad,
Cardiff. So you all are all locals.
Yeah.
And how would you describe this beach to people? Is it a pretty good place to hang out?
Yeah, I come here every summer. This is like my main beach that I come to with my mom, and it's the best.
And what about when you have to go back to school?
It kind of sucks, but like before the last day of summer, I always come here and stuff and hang out.
And just kind of hang out.
Yeah.
He's brought his boogie board all the way from
Bloomington, Indiana.
You're a long way from home. This is your family, and are you all regulars out here? Did you just stumble upon this place by accident?
I discovered this place in the 1970s, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a place in Encinitas? So our dream came through 5 years ago, and we got a place here.
So wait a minute, you live here during the summer?
Just for about 3 weeks.
And then you go back to Indiana?
The rest of the year.
Wow, with lots of beach stories.
Yeah, definitely lots of beach stories.
And are you ever tempted to kind of come out here maybe in January,
Yes,
February, March?
Very tempted. I've been thinking that all year, all the time we've been here, how much more time I'd like to be here.
I think it may not be long before you all are the newest citizens here in California.
Yeah, you're right.
And Indiana's loss will be the gain of the good city of Encinitas. We'll see you soon. Probably around the middle of February. There they are, the name of the family?
Zinman.
From Indiana, soon to be from California. Give us a wave. Now we've done it. We've gone from Moonlight Beach to the SS Moonlight. And Lloyd, you have brought us to this amazing place because we had seen pictures of it and wanted to see it for ourselves.
Right.
Introduce us to our tour guide here.
All right, this is Mark Whitney, Huell. And
Howdy, Mark.
this is the guy that
Neil.
saved these buildings. And
Saved them.
Saved the boathouses.
All right, well, tell us a little bit
about it.
about these, because these are, I've seen pictures of these in books.
Well,
These are amazing.
Well, these boats were both built in 1928 or 29, depending on who you talk to, and they were recycled from parts from the Encinitas dance hall that used to be at Moonlight Beach. And Miles Kellogg, who built these in 28, was sort of a pioneering original recycler, and everything here is done from scraps of lumber and tin cans he made into portholes, and just everything is, you know, basically from scraps and cast-offs.
So these have been here since
1928.
My father saw these for sale, and he's sort of civic-minded and wanted to save them for Encinitas, and asked me to buy them because I'm a builder and, you know, thought I could restore them. And I didn't even have, I wasn't crazy enough to buy boats on land, but he kept nudging me. So, you know, one thing led to another, and eventually the owners gave us a really good deal, and we were able to preserve them for the city.
Can we walk up here? Because
Sure,
this
sure.
is, where do we go? Do we go up here? Do we go up?
The main entrance is in between
All
there.
right, let's walk up in here, because this is really, pictures don't do them justice. They're big.
Yeah, they're quite livable. I don't know exactly how many square feet because they're not exactly square.
And what are they? Are they rentals? Do people own these?
Yeah, this has been the home for many surf rats in Encinitas over decades. And one of the jokes is that if everybody who claimed to have lived in the boats for 6 months or more really did, they haven't been around in the 75 years they've been here enough to house all the people who lay claim to actually having spent time here. It's probably one of the best examples of like roadside, you know, whimsy architecture in California. And everybody that passes by, you'll see, well, we hear cars always slow down.
Probably screeching to a stop when they see this.
Well, I'm sure there might have been a few fender benders of people going,
Can we go in?
Sure, help yourself.
Which one?
This one's free to...
All right, and I guess before you come in, you ring the bell. We're inside the, is there an official name to these structures?
Everybody knows these as the boathouses, and people who live here don't even have to give their address. They just say, we're in the boats, and everybody knows the boats.
And I love this. Look at the portholes right here, and then it just kind of comes, we're looking at the front of the boat.
Well, and in the bow, actually, this is sort of unique that there's no wasted space. This is actually a pantry, even the bow is
That goes
utilized.
all the way to the bow.
Yeah, it continues on. And as you'll notice, things are a little tilted in here, and the boats have settled a little over time, but there was something built into them where you're a little bit feeling like you're out to sea originally, because there's nothing that was ever plumb or level perfectly. So the joke is you have to drink a six-pack for the boats to upright themselves. So
now we've come up to the second level of the boat, and I'm not sure what you call this, but it's, again, it was kind of wobbly walking out here on it, Mark.
Yeah, it's kind of like walking a gangplank, and now we're on the bow of the boat.
All right, and they've got it set up just perfect. We got the telescope out here to look at the stars. We're looking out over the horizon there. I mean, there are not many places like this.
No, this is sort of the perfect grill watching spot out here on the bow, and the people who live here seem to really enjoy just socializing and mainly watching all the people come by and oogle the boats and take them in.
Here's a family right down here. Howdy. Hello. How you doing? Couldn't get any better. We're having fun up here on the boat. Y'all heading for the beach? Oh yeah. Have a good day.
Okay, you too.
This is a good place to just kind of watch the whole world go by.
This is it. This is like, you know, being in the center of the universe here on the bow of the boat.
And I can see now why all the lifeguards, all the surfers, all the college students, anyone who's ever lived here over the years is proud to say at one time they call this place home.
Oh, I think a lot of people, the highlights of their life have taken place in the boat here, and I don't think I'd want to go into describing what all those were, but when we were remodeling, we found remnants of a lot of good times here in the boat. So,
well, it's a very important place here in Encinitas. Thank you for showing it to us.
Absolutely.
It's not many places you can visit and see two boats on land where people live.
There you go.
But it's right here in Encinitas. Whenever you pull into town, it's a good idea to kind of get the local flavor by eating in one of the local hangouts. And our friend Trevor, the lifeguard down at Moonlight Beach, sent us here to Raul's, and we're standing in line to get food along with some local yokels. You're a local, right?
Yes,
You're
I am.
Encinitan?
No, I work in Encinitas. So.
Well, that's close enough.
Yes, it is.
Do you come here a lot to Raul's?
I come here every week. Yes.
What do you get at Raul's?
I usually like to get the rolled tacos, and the soup is excellent.
Why
also.
do you come to Raul's?
Because it's fresh and it's not greasy and it's good.
It's local. And here's a guy smiling, don't leave us, smiling from ear to ear. You're a local too.
I'm a local too.
And how often do you come to Raul?
About twice a week.
And what do you get?
I get chicken tacos and carnitas burrito. It's all good and all fresh.
All right, so our friend the lifeguard made a good suggestion, didn't he?
Absolutely.
What do you think we should get?
I think you should get a carnitas burrito.
I think you should get some soup.
Confusion reigns at Raul's because in order to do this interview, we had to get everybody to leave the kitchen and come out here for just a minute, so we can't take a long time. Who is the owner of this place?
This right here, this young lady right here.
Your name is?
Emma Castillo.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Who was Raul?
My youngest brother.
So it was named after your youngest brother.
Yes.
And you are related?
This is my mom.
And you are related?
Just an employee, just a worker here.
All right, so tell us about this place and why all the surfers and all the lifeguards so highly recommend it.
It's been here 20 years, right next to another Mexican restaurant, 24-hour Mexican restaurant.
Now, wait a minute. That was big of you to mention the other restaurant right next door.
Well, we closed down, so we consist of freshness and quality. They're 24 hours, the average, typical, stereotypical, fast.
So your claim to fame is that everything is fresh, fresh, fresh.
As you can see, the size of the place, we don't really have the capacity to store things, so it's only as it goes along, we sell it and then buy it, you know.
And what's the specialty here?
Everything. I like everything.
Everything's
So what should we get? We've already had some recommendations.
The taquitos are very good. The fish tacos are good, and the pork is really good.
I was famous for my taquitos.
Taquitos? I love taquitos.
Yes. We
And
have
the soup?
The soup, the chicken soup is really good. Very fresh, very healthy. The best thing is also the pork. The pork is very good. Carnitas.
Carnitas are really good here. They're very famous for that here. Carnitas and flautas. Pretty much a lot of finger foods that you could get because it's made fresh and everybody just, they don't need a fork and stuff like that just to eat it.
It's the deal that a lot of surfers come by here, don't they?
Yeah, we have a lot of people that come here and they enjoy the food and stuff. And sometimes when we're really busy, they're loyal customers that just say, oh, don't worry about it. It's worth the wait.
Okay, while we're waiting on our lunch to be made fresh at Raul's, we have come, well, Raul's is just right off of the main coast highway here on D Street. This is the hardcore, old-time, historic Encinitas right here, isn't it, Lloyd?
1920s.
Boy, it's been very well redeveloped, and we're standing right here because this is kind of the landmark for the town right here.
Yes, it is. Well, this first sign was not this sign because we put this in after the 1927 sign was taken down because they made this particular road on 101 into a 4-lane for these small towns. And we had car jams, unfortunately, before that. This was a 2-lane road starting out in 1913.
So when this sign was originally put up, it was meant to go over a 2-lane road.
That's exactly right. So now we've got it over a 4-lane road, and we put it in about 3 years ago, and it's a duplicate of what we had in 1927 through 1937.
Same color, same design, everything.
Same design, that's right.
And when you see that, you know you're in Encinitas.
Exactly.
All right, we've been standing here about 3 minutes. There's Raul's right down there. That's where we're heading right now to get our freshly made lunch. You got the fish tacos?
I got the fish tacos.
I got the taquitos and some soup. We'll see how it turns out.
Waiting for us.
Okay, lunch is served. And Alex, what have we got here?
You have a chicken taquitos and you got beef taquitos.
Here are the taquitos. This is what I'm having. Chicken, and you brought out the beef. These are Lloyd's
The fish tacos.
Fish tacos.
Yes. And these
Cameron, the cameraman, got
fish tacos as well.
Fish, a whole big lunch.
Yeah, that's the plate. That's the combination number 7.
And what is this?
This is our famous chicken soup.
Oh, look
for
at
those good old
that.
cold days and hangover days.
Oh my God!
You could actually have it nice, either spicy or as simple
This
as that.
is so wonderful.
It's
you
good
got to
stuff.
be proud of this little place.
This place is. I'm proud of my mom. She's held it up very well, very well.
And
on
it's
her own.
and
And it's very fresh, as you can see. The ingredients is as fresh as you can get. You know,
it's homemade.
Everything done by hand. It's a few things, and a few. That's our secret recipes that will really keep us very popular, like other places don't have.
Well, it's working. Thank you very much. We're just going to sit down right here and have our lunch.
Okay.
The name of the place is Raul's, named after your younger brother.
Raul.
It's now owned by the family. The name of the family?
Alex Guerrero. This is Raul. Emma Castillo.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you for lunch. We're looking forward. Look at this. This is our lunch today here in Encinitas. I'm sure there are a lot of good places to eat in Encinitas, but I think we've found one of the best right here on the side of D Street. Well, I've never seen a sign like this before, but obviously this means surfer crossing, and we are right here on the side of Coast Highway, good old Highway 101. Not to see the surfers crossing, but to see something else over here. And gentlemen, I guess I don't know how many million people go up and down this highway every year. They all must see this on the side of the road. Let us all know exactly what this is, where we are right now.
Well, we're in front of Self-Realization Fellowship Center here in Encinitas, and it was founded here in 1936 by Paramahansa Yogananda.
All right, now that name is a very famous name, internationally known in the area of yoga and of your religion. I'm not sure what I'm asking right here. I'm learning as I go along. Well, tell us the story of how this got here.
Okay. Paramahansa Yogananda lived here in Southern California, was basically stationed up in Los Angeles. That's where our international headquarters is. So he would give lectures on Sunday both in Los Angeles and in San Diego. So his followers would drive him down from LA to San Diego.
Down the Coast Highway.
That's another 25 miles down here. So they would stop and have a picnic lunch on what was called Noonan's Point. It was just a point overlooking the ocean. And they knew that he really liked this place. So he went to India in 1935 and 36, and while he was away, his followers bought this property, and they kept it a secret from him, if you can keep a secret from someone with that state of consciousness. Mm-hmm. So when he came back, they drove past here. They were taking him to San Diego, and they looked out the window and they said, "Oh, sir, look, someone must have purchased that property while you were away. Maybe we should go and see who they are, see if they're friendly." So they turned around and brought him back and brought him in the gate. Then he saw his followers, and they garlanded him with a big garland, and they said, "This is for you." And he kept this as a retreat for himself only for a couple of weeks. And then he said, "This is too beautiful. We have to open this up as a retreat center," and we have people coming from all the different countries in the world.
It has been a retreat center right here on the side of the Coast Highway for how many years? Since the 30s.
That's right, that's right. He would invite people to come, and now we have a 24-room retreat there. So this facility is basically a retreat center, and it's also a training center. This is where our young monks enter and get their first 1 or 2 years of training.
Well, gentlemen, we have just come from a great fresh homemade lunch which has satisfied our bodies here in Encinitas. A wonderful way to end our road trip here would be to nourish our spirit and our soul, and I think we have come to the right place.
Just come up into the garden, sit down on a bench, and you'll just be washed with these beautiful vibrations of peace.
We're on the fellowship grounds, and how much acreage are we talking about here?
There's 23 acres on this ocean side of the railway tracks and another 14 acres on the other side of the railway tracks.
Everything is split by the railroad tracks in Encinitas.
Right down the middle, right down.
True to form. Okay, we're here. Is she our tour guide up here?
This is Sister Madani.
Hi, how are you doing? Huell
Glad to meet you, Mr. Hauser.
Nice to meet you. Now we're coming up here to take a tour of this beautiful structure here. What is this called?
This is called the Hermitage, and this is where Paramahansa Yogananda lived and wrote many of his well-known works, Autobiography of a Yogi in particular.
Okay, now is this open to the public, or are we seeing something that no one else sees, or?
No, this is open to the public every Sunday from 2 to 5 in the afternoon.
You have a big crowd up here on Sundays?
We usually do, usually in the hundreds.
All right, we're heading into the Hermitage right now, right through, come on fellas, right through these beautiful trees right here. We are heading up the main steps, and I've already kind of lowered my voice because is this considered a shrine?
Yes, it is, and people come from all over the world to visit here as a matter of going on pilgrimage to a sacred place.
Okay, now what are we seeing right here?
This is called the drawing room, and in the days after this building was opened, let me say, when Paramahansa Yogananda first came here, Rajarsi Janakananda, who built this for him, set this for him as a retreat, as a place for him to write. And he said that he walked the halls for 7 days, and then he realized he needed to open it to others. And in the early days, he held Sunday services here in the drawing room. He was, Paramahansa Yogananda was quite a musician. He played the sitar, the organ, the harmonium, many, many different instruments, and he would play the organ. This is the chair in which he sat when he was hosting guests.
Oh, that is beautiful. Is that an antique?
Yes, it is. It's from the Ming Dynasty.
Oh my gosh. So this room is set up exactly the way it would have been when he was here. What do I call him? What is the...
You can call him Swami, since
Swami.
Paramahansa Yogananda is a little longer.
And so this has just kind of been frozen in time, this whole room. It's beautiful. Look at this with the chandelier and with the ceilings, built in the 1930s and just perfectly preserved.
Yes, it's a constant battle against the ocean and the elements to keep the building in proper condition, so that it can be open to those who wish to come on pilgrimage, and any of the public who wish to come.
You know, I've still got on my hat. Should I take off my hat?
No, that's all right.
I mean, I feel like I've kind of intruded. Why are you laughing? Do people feel this way? I mean...
People come in here and they just stop and they just feel. And usually they don't even say anything. This is a little unusual for us because you're here. But people just stand in the hallway and they just feel. Their bodies just tingle all over with the blessing they get.
Because he was here.
Yes, yes. And because of their reverence. And God is omnipresent, of course. So.
Yeah.
And that's what he teaches, that any moment we want to, we can just stop anywhere where we are and feel peace.
We are now going to what has to be the most important, the most significant room in the Hermitage.
This is the room, this is Paramahansa Yogananda's study, and it was in this room that he wrote Autobiography of a Yogi. You'll see the picture on the desk of the Guru writing, and he worked on many of his other significant works here as well.
And this room, well, the picture on the desk is of him sitting at that desk working.
Yes, it is.
So this is where it all was done.
Yes, a great portion of his work was done here, his writings.
Sister Mirdani and I are now walking through the
meditation gardens,
which is another amazing part of this facility because, boy, talk about meditation. This is about as peaceful and quiet and beautiful as any place I think I've ever been.
And that's why people come here, so that they might experience God in nature and the peace of God in nature.
So these little paths just kind of go all around the grounds here.
Yes, and there are little benches secluded in little nooks. And
look at this. Yes, oh, it's just spectacular.
The ponds are filled with koi, which we get as very tiny fish, and they grow into what you see here. They're very, very beautiful.
We haven't seen any today, but do people just come here and meditate for hours at a time?
Well, I don't know if they come for hours because we also get a lot of just garden visitors who come to see the beauty of the gardens. And but many, many come to sit and be peaceful and to meditate.
Now this takes the cake because we're looking down here at these surfers, and what beach are they surfing on?
They're surfing off Swami's Beach.
Now, when we were down at the Moonlight Beach earlier today, the lifeguard was telling us about Swami's Beach.
Swami's is a world-famous surfing beach. And the reason it's called Swami's is because when, well, even before the house was built, when Yogananda came here in the early days, he would come and meditate here on the point. And the surfers, of course, it was a famous surfing beach then too. The surfers named it after him. He got to know them, and he would go down and walk on the beach and talk with the surfers and the fishermen.
You know, everything we have seen here today in Encinitas makes a full circle. All the dots connect. Swami's Beach is right down here, right below where Swami lived. And we're ending up, as if it could get any more beautiful, by looking right down the coast. We're looking down the famous bluffs of Encinitas. We're looking down towards San Diego, 25 miles off in the distance. This is just a spectacular place.
Yes, it is. And, you know, he said that this area reminded him of India and some parts of India. And India must surely be beautiful.
Well, I don't know about India, but I know this part of California is spectacular.
Yes, it is.
Thank you all very much for the tour. Thank you all very much for the tour.
Thank you.
This is open for everybody to visit on Sunday afternoons, right?
And the gardens are open every day, Tuesday through Sunday from 9 to 5.
Well, it's a spectacular place. You haven't been with us the rest of the other part of the day, but every part of our day here on this road trip has been absolutely amazing. We have seen so many beautiful places, met so many nice people, and learned so much. This area of the coast of Southern California is so rich in history.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's a wonderful, I mean, Encinitas history begins in the 1800s. And in fact, Swami Yogananda was the 50th name in the early Encinitas phone book. That's how long this has been here, and is one of the founding fathers, if you will, of Encinitas.
Well, whether you're a devotee of the Swami or just a tourist from LA like me who got trapped into this wonderful place, just sucked in by it, when you visit Encinitas, there is a lot to see and do. We've had an absolutely wonderful day. Let's end up by getting a shot looking right down the coastline. This wonderful, wonderful day we have spent here in Southern California, right on the coast in Encinitas on this road trip. This is what Southern California is all about. Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell Hauser, and I sure hope you enjoyed our road trip to Encinitas. If you'd like to go on this adventure again, or share it with family and friends, it's available on video cassette and on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.
Road Trip with Huell Hauser has been made possible by the Automobile Club of Southern California.
Wherever you're headed on your next road trip, the Auto Club knows the territory. For travel tips or comprehensive destination information, as well as booking your next family vacation, our website is a great first stop on any journey, no matter how far away your destination may be. Through all life's travels, we're always with you.